Hi, I'm Tony Bové. Welcome to this week's episode of Art V. On today's program, we'll chat with artist Christina Popovici and Devon from Gasworks, who will give us an update about the Fringe Festival, amongst other things. But first, photographer Charlie Barker, who is also a singer, songwriter, tikiphile and saw player. And Charlie joins me now. Hi Charlie, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi Tony, how you going?
Great, thank you. What got you involved in photography?
It would have been about 5 years ago. A friend of mine had joined a Facebook group that had a daily theme, so a photography Facebook group, and they put up a month's worth of themes, and I thought, oh, I'll give that a go. And it was actually, I liked how it made me mindful of what I was seeing on a daily basis, and I actually did it for 18 months rather than just a month. And at the end of that, I found that I was starting to get themes with what I was doing, and I think I entered a few pieces in head-on photography festivals. I had a mobile section.
Yep.
And I was chosen as an associate exhibitor for that. So it sort of started to steamroll from there.
Okay, I've perused your website and got some info on you. You've had quite a few group exhibitions. And the Head-On Festival back in 2016, that was the Contact Sheet Gallery. So that's pretty big.
Yeah, in Sydney. Yeah.
Pretty big?
Yeah, so it was a group of, I think, three of us had our works in there. And it's an interesting experience because, obviously I hadn't exhibited before, and I ended up doing a series on vintage cars. So I tend to gravitate towards old. You
have also had some very good news just yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah. So I've been chosen as a finalist in the landscape category in the Australian Photography Awards for this year.
Kicking goals.
Yeah.
You're a finalist in two pretty good awards. Oh, well done, Joe. That's excellent.
Thanks.
Now, you've also been a semi-finalist in the Moran Prize. This is now 2018.
Yes.
And
so it was with two pieces, from what I recall, both mobile.
And the Lens Mist Prize. What was that about?
That's actually so that's funded by Kingston Arts.
Yeah.
And it has to be, I think, well, at that time it needs to be of the area, so within their shire, or what we call municipality. Yeah. And it's actually, I keep going back to this site, so it's actually the same site where I've put my car in the shot for the Australian Photography Awards. So it's a rocket that I think it's still there.
Now, I'm not sure where it was, but I'm pretty sure I heard you throw out a challenge to Renan Goxon, who we had in last week, for the street art challenge, was it?
Yeah, I would have done that on Facebook. We've been talking about doing, going out and spending an afternoon. Well, I prefer to go and do it at night, actually, because I like the darkness. But, we've been talking about going out and doing some street together for quite a long time. And we're often sort of looking at each other's work and what we're doing. And he's very into his lenses, so I often talk to him about that, because I'm not so tech-driven. I'm more, I can see a picture in my head and I want to work out a way of putting it on paper. So that's kind of how I learn how to do things in order to get to that point.
But still, even without the technical knowledge, or really trying to learn the intricacies of how a camera can work, because they're pretty complex, especially nowadays. But I think I had an old Olympus OM10 that I started off with the old film days of doing black and white. But that hasn't stopped you, because you've won in 2017 Provocare Art Prize as a student.
So that one was a totally fabricated. I'll sometimes make sets because I can see the image and I work out a way of doing it, because that was setting up. I wanted to get into a confessional somehow. No one was going to let me do what I wanted to do with a confessional, so I basically made one up in my hallway, took a door off and did the whole thing in order to set that one up. But it doesn't matter what. The camera you've got on your hand is the best camera, because if you don't have a camera in your hand, then you can't take the shot.
You're not going to capture anything.
Yeah.
We talked about that too with Renan again, capturing the moment. Doesn't matter how you get it.
No.
Yeah. Now, on the website, we want to have a quick talk about it, because it looks terrific, as I said.
Thank you.
Your night series, In the Darkness, so you enjoy the low light night photography?
Yeah, Yeah, I keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's always seems to be my main. The last work I did was Catani Gardens, so I went through there and did some a lot of long exposures in there.
Yeah, I just saw an image of that a day or two.
Yeah, so I haven't even really published any of those works.
Yeah.
I'll probably put about four or five.
But there's a few
out.
categories on the website because you also do creative portraiture.
Yes, so
Yeah.
that's where I'll sort of set up the scene based on the person that's in the scene.
Yep. You've also got all your tiki bar.
Tiki, yeah, that's because I'm obsessed with tiki.
Right. Oh, well,
Anything
halfway
tiki.
through. I've nearly finished building a little tiki bar in my backyard. I'm hoping to have it open.
Oh, good.
Well, not open, but, you know.
I'll have a mojito, please.
Have some. Well, you can come on over because you're into it. But yesteryear, you like yesteryear, and you do like old cars. There's a section, beautiful photography of some cars, old classics.
Yeah, well, I used to go to a lot of car shows. I don't so much now because I've got the XM.
Yep.
Yeah, so I sort of gravitate to that style of. Well, I like speeds. I like driving, so it makes sense that I want to take photos of that stuff. And I've just always, since I was a kid, I've always had. I live in a 50s, 60s environment. I don't have any. I sound like a freak now, but I just live with old stuff around me. So I guess you shoot, or you see. You know, you do with what you know. So that's become a feature of my
it's
work.
good to be working with something you're passionate about too.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time and giving us some insight into all your fabulous work. I really can't recommend highly enough the choice of website template to present your work as an artist, and
thank
your
you.
example is a really good one for people to go and have a look at. So,
Cool. Thank
good
you.
on
Thanks
you.
for having me. It was fun.
Pleasure, Charlie. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Christina Popovici is a Romanian-born artist who had classical training in fine arts, which became the foundation for her practice of abstract expressionism. Christina does not use narrative in her paintings, rather there is a process of internalisation where energy and emotion are transposed into gesture on the canvas. And Christina joins us now. Hi Christina, how are you? Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
So you were born in Romania and you studied the classical fine arts, is that correct? And you introduced some European aspects of the classical art to work into abstract expressionism. That's the first time I've heard that. How'd you do that?
So I was born in a communist country, and I studied the arts in that part of the world. It's very different. It's very academical, and we learn about perspective and rules and more about drawing, I would say, and not that much about self-expression and abstract.
I've had a look at your art online, which I must say it's beautiful. I really, really love it. You can tell that you've had 30 odd years plus experience and dozens of shows around the world. Another point that picked up for me though was you don't sketch anything prior in your prep of getting started.
I would say to be an abstract expressionist painter means that it's based on self-expression. It's actually in the words, and for me, it's very important to be in the moment when I paint.
Now, you have used so many different mediums, though, over the years too, haven't you? From canvas,
Yes,
all sorts of paints, all sorts of inks.
yes, yes. I use a huge range of materials, which so I was very curious to see how each material, understanding the materials is very important, especially in action painting, like thick paint, thin paint, glazing, um,
Yes.
texture. All these elements help me find my own vocabulary plus my own chemistry while I'm painting. So it's a mixture of everything, and it's 100% a result of my everyday painting and my 100% commitment towards my career. But it's
Yeah.
more made it for me, because when I say career, people have an intention to get some position, to get some galleries, to get some exposure. For me, it's mainly um, doing it for me and for my own improvement and becoming better, or becoming always changing, or not recycling what I've learned before. That's why I
Sure.
got all this range of materials.
Yeah.
And another thing, in my in my last period of career, which means last 10 years, I started to work more around the brief, um, not that much about action painting and expressing and documenting my life in the moment. I found some very important subjects, like I don't know when was it, 2006, when I've done an exhibition called Study for Self-Portrait, in which I use mixed media photography / action painting and all the techniques I'm using. And another very different show for me was after self-portrait, was correspondence. So
Correspondence.
correspondence, in that exhibition, I use words. As you can see, I quite struggle with words. I have to admit that. So I was focusing at the words and the meaning of the words, and invited the public to reframe these positive words, like vulnerability, to accept the vulnerability, to contemplate, to accept the fragility, to find the truth, to another important word for me was home, because I was traveling so much during my life and living in so many places and felt displaced, starting with Romania. Um,
Yeah.
Home is a key word. And for me, home actually is in my studio, giving myself, and so on.
Having had a look at your work online, the correspondence and the study of self-portrait,
Yes.
brilliant, brilliant. So vibrant. Loved it. Did love the play with the words as well, the lettering. Superb. Your website looked really beautiful. So if people do want to have a look, they can go to CristinaPopovici.com. That's
Yes.
your website. But you
Yes.
also are represented in some galleries. You've got one in Melbourne, one in Phillip Island, one in New Zealand currently.
Yes. Yes, in New Zealand, Gallery 33. I'm working with this gallery for 20 years now, and I know I have to admit that their support was very important, because working with people who trust your creativity and your uniqueness, because it's quite difficult. It's so much variety today, which is beautiful. But to have people who believe in what you have to give, and the fact you can change and become better, is very important. Another person which I met, and it's absolutely extraordinary, and I'm so thankful that I met, is Thomas from Storehouse. Every time when Thomas comes into my studio, I feel safe. I feel my guard can come down, there is a person who is interested in my work, not to place me in a box of, oh, you're another abstract expressionist, you're one of the multi-billion numbers of artists. It's me, it's your signature mark, it's your vibrancy, it's your intensity, which I'm so happy that somebody like Thomas can appreciate.
And what's the gallery in Phillip Island, Mingara
Yes,
Gallery? That's the one, if
in
people
Gallery.
down on the peninsula. Great. Okay, well, that is about us for time to catch up today, but thanks so much for catching up, because with your body of work and experience, when I researched you and went to your website, I was blown away, really exceptional. You can tell you've been doing it for years. It was hard for me to explain in one word, but phenomenal. Really, really beautiful work.
Thank you so much.
Okay, loved
I
it.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No worries, Christina. Thank you very much. And might catch up with you late in 2021 and see what's going on. Let us know if you've got any more exhibitions coming up. Stay in touch.
Thank you.
Good on you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much. Devon is the Marketing and Development Manager at Gasworks, who has worked with organisations throughout Canada and Australia. Devon joins me now. Hi Devon, thanks so much for coming on the program.
Hi Simon, nice to be here.
So you were the Marketing and Development Manager at Gasworks Arts Park?
That's correct.
Yeah?
Yep.
We had Tracy in last week, had a great rave with her. Things are going on down there. You've got quite a bit coming up. But firstly, just wanted to cover off, you have been working in the industry, arts and entertainment industry, for over 10 years, and you've worked for a variety of organisations in Australia, and your birthplace, home place, Canada?
Yes, also in Canada.
Right, what were you doing?
So working in various fields, in front of house, back of house, acting, everything. Did a lot of fringe festivals and everything back in Canada. So, but then I've been here in Australia for about 6 years now.
Much difference?
No, not too much actually. A little bit more laid back, but...
What, in Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a compliment from a Canadian, because you're pretty laid back. You've also worked in the Redland Performing Arts Centre in Queensland.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, what was going on there?
So that was a little tiny theatre, about 500 people. Basically, it had a lot of various things going on, Queensland Ballet, that kind of thing.
Right, it's in Redland Bay, isn't it?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, I did go there a while when I lived in Brisbane back in mid-90s or something. And the Metro Arts in Brisbane. I can't remember where that is. Where was that?
So when I was with them, they were actually in the CBD on Edward Street, and they've actually, from what I've known, they've actually moved to a new theatre that they just built on the South Bank.
Oh, okay, in South Bank, so they're right in amongst it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, that's a good development. Okay, let's have a little chat about Gasworks and what's coming up, because we've talked about Paint Out, and that's coming up soon. That's in late November and early December on the weekends. We've covered that with Tracy, and all that information's on the website. Fringe. What's happening there? Because I don't think we've talked about that.
Yeah, so that's a pretty up-and-coming new performance that we got coming called I Have a Face.
Yeah.
It's going to be on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Basically, it's a show about a young woman who does a lot of singing and songwriting. She's also a comedian called Jude Pearl. So it's a lot about mental health, particularly with being told about labels and how that kind of detriment kind of really impacts on your mental capacity. And so it's a really fun, uplifting kind of story that we think this is going to be really good for, being in COVID and lockdown and everything.
Well, especially now restrictions, what's today, November the 18th, so restrictions are about 18 days straight or something for Melbourne or Victoria now, which is terrific. But we have always checked throughout, because when we started this, no one saw COVID coming, so we've asked everyone, how did it affect your particular departmental, aspects at Gasworks? Did you have to do any changes to cope with it?
Actually, we pivoted a lot to more online content for our visual arts and everything like that. So we kind of didn't have so much going on with the actual theatre. We actually had planned to shut down anyways to do a revamp in our theatre with a new seating bank, which nobody's actually been able to use yet. So we're really excited to welcome everyone back in and try out our new seating.
So when is that Fringe performance commencing? Is that Thursday,
Friday, and Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
And that's starts tomorrow.
Yes.
On the 26th.
6th.
On the 26th, running through to the 29th. Now, I've also got another little funny question for you, because I've been to the circus in the past. You're Canadian. You've got bears there, haven't you? Did you train up a bear in your young days?
Oh, yeah, of course. I went out into the bush and, had a little trained bear, did some juggling. No.
Oh, just to make sense of it all, I noticed that in 2016 and 17, you worked with Cirque du Soleil?
Correct, yes.
In Australian production, what was that?
That was on their tour of Cusa. So that was a very fun environment to be in and everything, very international crowd, people from all around the world, Russia, Canada, the US, Brazil, Australia even. So it was just such a really great community and everything like that. So
that would have been fantastic. So you got to go all around Australia?
Correct, yeah. Just toured around, did Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth.
What, over a year or two, over the 18 months or something?
Yeah, 18 months, yep. So
what an experience.
Yeah.
How long, when did you come to Australia?
I moved over in 2014.
Wow, what a great job to get in a couple of years in.
Yeah, exactly.
So all that experience that you accumulated in Canada carried straight over.
Yes.
Gee, well, fantastic. A lot of people would be jealous to get a gig like that. Fantastic. Now, that date is January 15 and 16 in 2021.
For Circus Under the Stars.
Circus Under the Stars.
Yeah, that's our upcoming production that we've got going on, which is really something that we're excited about, because we're going to actually transform our parklands into an outdoor performance space.
Wow.
So people are going to be able to enjoy nice, socially distanced circus live right there. We're going to be bringing in this massive rigging structure from Castlemaine and everything like that. So it's been great.
Huge big set. Has that been done before at Gasworks?
No, this is the first time that we're actually doing this, so we're really excited. It's going to be huge.
One of your initiatives, because you're the only one with the experience, aren't you?
I'd like to think so, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. What an amazing concept, Circus Under the Stars. But I've never seen it. I've been to the big tents, but Under the Stars, and if it's going to be Jan 21, it is Melbourne, but we can have some sort of, confidence that the weather's going to be holding up, and it should be beautiful.
Yes.
What time do those performances commence?
So that's going to be on Friday the 15th at 7:30 p.m. and then 2 shows on the Saturday the 16th, 4 p.m. and 7:30.
Fabulous. All that info's on the website, of course.
Yep, and the tickets will be going live on Tuesday, December 8th for our season launch.
Okay, beauty. So anyone who wants to know any more information, gasworks.org.au. Look for links for Circus Under the Stars, and also check out the Fringe.
Yes.
Which is starting tomorrow. So, let's hope the weather holds up, because it should do. It's looking good. So hopefully it'll be a terrific event.
Great.
Devon, thank you so much for your time and coming in and letting us know what's going on at Gasworks. We're just finding out how much does go on there. So we love having a chat with you guys. So thanks again for coming in and giving us your time.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
Cheers.
Well, that's about it for this week. If you'd like to get in touch with us, just shoot us an email at ideas@studioemedia.com.au. Thanks so much for watching. Look forward to your company next time.